And what is going on, everybody? So, welcome to the 2021 NFL end of season review. Um, but before we get on to all to the good stuff, if you guys are here new to this channel and also live on Facebook, make sure to hit the like button here on YouTube as well. Like the stream up, share the stream. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button with notification bell on. Also, let's just kind of get right into this. So, as you may know, that the 2021 NFL season, regular season, has come to is over by the basically, but basically, I just kind of want to go over a few things, like as you probably read the description of this, kind of like go over how bad the team or how good they did this year. But with that being said, let's kind of hop right into it. Let me pull up the screen for you guys. Obviously, let's take up the AFC East. Obviously, with the Buffalo Bills already clinching their division with the final record of 11-6, with the Patriots coming in second, obviously clinching a wild card spot. I'll be honest, guys. I would have thought the Patriots would clinch the division, because that's how the way that I saw the kind of just basically how the or basically just I don't know, man. Because here's the thing, like with the Buffalo Bills, well, we all know they're good, but there were some games that they played this. Yeah, Jerry. Because here's the thing about the Buffalo Bills, there were some games that they played that shown that they have not played like the Buffalo Bills that we expect them to be that dominant team that they were the last couple of years ago, that went back to back division title or division titles. But I do think I think the playoffs are going to be it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Buffalo obviously managed to make a comeback to get the win the division over the New England Patriots, who finished 10-7. The Miami Dolphins finishing 9-8, and obviously the abysmal New York Jets. And then, speaking of the Miami Dolphins, I might make a video about this later. I think they're going to regret it. Why? Obviously, if you got, for those who do not know, they fired Brian Flores after 3 seasons with the team. Like, my thing is that why would you fire a guy that had a losing season in the first half, but then it went on a losing streak in the first half, and a winning streak in the second? Like, it just shows that sometimes and that's another team I feel like, or franchise I feel like, is inept at times. But I mean, I feel like they're not. Man, sorry, man. To be honest, I kind of do feel bad for Dolphins fans, but literally, I think Brian Flores actually did a pretty good job over there in Miami. But unfortunately, Miami didn't see it that way. But hey, for me, I'd still keep Brian Flores for the Miami Dolphins, because I thought he's pretty much turned that franchise around into the and try to get to the postseason. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you really can't change much. Let's get into obviously the Jets. I mean, what is there to say? Just because that the Jets have really some decent they have some talent, but they need to start retool even more. I mean, you still got Elijah Moore over there, you still got Denzel Mims. I feel like he's kind of not living up to the kind of pick that he went for the Jets. I mean, CJ Mosley, he's got a great potential for them. But I mean, it's the Jets, obviously. And then we get to the AFC North. We got the Cincinnati Bengals, who clinched the division with a 10-7 record. Pittsburgh, and I'll be honest, I'm very surprised that Pittsburgh had come, despite that a very slow, shitty start. Is that the Pittsburgh Steelers, just I don't know, man. Just the fact that they finished the season 9-7-1. Obviously, that tie goes to they tie with the Lions, which that was embarrassing to say the least. And the fact that I'll get to about the in the NFC talk about the game last night. So I want to kind of go over a few things. Cleveland, I feel like had low failed expectations because Baker Mayfield finally got surgery after not opting to do it, but I don't know. But I think I think Cleveland should move on from Baker because I don't think he is the guy over there for Cleveland. And we get to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I'll say this: the game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, despite that game going into overtime, I don't know, man. I think Harbaugh should needs to be on the hot seat because because of what all of us saw. Like the fact that he didn't want to kept running the football, which was effective, working really well for them, but then decides to go against it, which, to be honest, that's what basically what screwed Baltimore. But I mean, and speaking of fellow Raider fan,
Yo, what's up?
But for those who don't know, Eric is a Raiders fan. I did a special video for the Raider Nation, kind of giving my perspective on it. But yeah, so I try to at least show some Raider Nation some love as an outsider. But well, yeah. So Eric, so far, what did you think that the regular season this year? Because I know it's been crazy this year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just came off of your video. I just commented on there. I appreciate that. It's been a tough season for us, but
Yeah.
we made the playoffs. So at the end of the day, it was all worth it. Whatever it is. But as far as the NFL season, I know you just touched on the Bills, and you thought the Patriots were going to win.
I thought the Patriots were taking the division.
Here's my take on the Patriots, and people always called me crazy for the past few weeks. I called them overrated since their win streak. After their fourth game when they won, I forgot which game we came across, and I forgot which show I said it on. I called them overrated. Then when they ended up playing the Bills and they ended up playing the Colts, that just proved my point even more. I was like, "Yep, this is the team I know." And the thing is I kind of like to compare the Patriots to that Panthers team, that Super Bowl Panthers team where it's a rookie it's a young quarterback, no playoff experience type of quarterback. Believe it or not, it's an even playing field, in the playoffs. So, the Patriots still can make the Super Bowl, but I still think that without that run game, they wouldn't be that much. And we see it with the Colts. What happened to them? Everybody said the Colts are the hottest team going into the playoffs. Besides,
we saw they get their ass whooped by Jacksonville.
They became one-dimensional, and look at what Carson Wentz did. It's the same thing. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is the same thing as Mac Jones. Mac Jones maybe is better than Carson Wentz, or maybe because it's Bill Belichick, the coaching is better. But at the end of the day, the Patriots, I think you would have to give them like one more year. I think next year in order to be a Super Bowl contender. I think right now, who do they play in the playoffs? They play
let me let me check the playoff picture. Because I know you guys are playing. Because I know what you say who the Patriots are playing.
Let me check. Yeah, we're playing the Bengals.
Yeah, because you guys got the Bengals because you overtook the 5 spot.
Yeah, I think they play the Bills.
Oh, that's right. They played the Bills.
Let me see. Playoff picture.
Because I think the Bills are the 6th seed or no.
Yeah, it's the Bills again. So it's a tiebreaker because the Patriots won the first one and the Bills won the second one. And if y'all remember the first matchup between them, it was just run. Mac Jones threw under 5 throws that game and they won. And then the second game, they stopped the run and they won. What's going to happen this game? Bill Belichick is going to make changes. He's the coach to make changes. He's going to.
Oh, yeah.
The question is Josh Allen going to perform? Is Singletary and who's there? Zach Moss, the running backs, gonna perform? We know their defense is capable of stopping this offense. It really is. They got Pro Bowlers all over the the defensive side of the ball. I knew the Bills were still going to win the division, in my opinion. I just rated the Bills higher. I mean, I know they went through a disgusting ass losing streak, and it looked like they weren't no playoff team. But you know, they won the division. They took care of business. Um, and yeah, you know what? I'm not mad at it, but I mean, I could see why people thought the Patriots were going to make it because at the end of the day, their defense are top five. Their
What's going on,
defense is top five.
JT Taco?
What up, J Taco? And as
Now,
far as this, yeah, go ahead.
how about I'll ask you this: what did you think of the Brian Flores firing?
That's the dumbest firing I seen of today.
That's like
I woke up a little late. I woke up at like 11 o'clock my time, so that's 2 o'clock Eastern time.
yeah, that'd be
So
2
around
o'clock.
that time, I woke up and there was already a bunch of news. I was seeing my whole Twitter feed of fired, 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 fired. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Listen, and I said this too. It's just like, despite having a losing streak in the first half, then comes back when it goes on a 7-8 game winning streak, and gets canned. Like, who does that?
Yeah, and look at what he did with Tua. Tua went from having one of the worst his rookie season being bad and getting benched by Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then coming off the second season performing like a real good dual threat that we know.
Yeah,
Tua
what we
be.
expected coming out of the draft.
And look what they did with Jalen Waddle too. They hit the marker there. Look at Jalen Waddle. I think he set the record for something. I forgot what it was.
I don't even know what the record is, but all I know is it's like, man, Miami's taking a huge step back in the direction that they're going. But Jesus.
At this time, it's like, what is Miami going to do with their head coaching job? Who are they going to pick up? Who are they going to interview? Because as far as right now, the only interviews I know is Dan Quinn to the Broncos. That's the only thing.
And Mike Zimmer just got fired too, which we already knew that was going to happen. Same with Matt Nagy. And I also saw that, man, the general manager also got fired too. That I forgot that I thought it was just going to be Matt Nagy, but I guess Ryan Pace lost his job. And
I know Gooley's happy.
At least I got 2 out of the 3 right that they're going to be losing their job, and that was Pace and Nagy. Ted Phillips, man, I was like, fuck, man. At least I'm 2 or 3. But to the AFC North, oh Lord, the Cincinnati Bengals, man. I kind of underestimated the Bengals the last couple of years. Because I know, like last year, I get it. I mean, despite Joe Burrow being hurt, which, to be honest, I think despite what I feel like that was critical, and despite their O-line getting already been banged up with injuries, but the fact that they come back this year healthy and finish 10-7 this year, it's really it's something to really behold. It's like, and the fact that what Joe Burrow is doing, like just setting like numerous records, like being like in like rare categories that we have not seen in a very long time in the NFL.
Yeah, that division was close at one point. It was like 3 games ago where every team was like about the same record on the AFC North, and nobody knew who was going to win that because at the end of the day, the Browns did a phenomenal free agency. I had them at an A+. In my opinion, on free agency, they hit on John Johnson, they hit on Jadeveon Clowney. It looked like a team that was a Super Bowl contender. Then protocols, injuries hit them. And it just went all down, and then you ended up seeing that Baker Mayfield ain't the answer.
And obviously Pittsburgh coming in second, which I would never expect Pittsburgh really coming back into that NFC North division.
Steeler fans are lucky we did not tie yesterday. You're lucky the Chargers called timeout. In my opinion, I know a lot of people are split. Some people are saying, "Oh, the Raiders were never going to take a tie. They were going to win the game no matter what." I get that. You go into games winning the game. But when you see the last 2 minutes of that overtime, and you were there during the stream, it was run.
Just run.
They were letting the clock down. Nobody was calling a timeout. Nothing was happening. And then I even said it on stream. I don't know if you remember. I literally said, if they run it one more time, that means that they just want to run down the clock and they want to tie.
Yeah, that's kind of what Bisaccia wanted to do.
Yeah. And he ran.
And I'll say this, man, but like I said too, got to keep finishing Double J that rock. And honestly,
Yeah.
hey, look, not gonna lie, it was a great game. I am not gonna lie about that.
Mhm.
It was probably one of the best game of the year that
Yeah.
in recent years. But and speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, oh, for the love of
Ravens, you had
God,
one job: take the Steelers out.
you
Because,
had
in my
one
opinion,
job and you blew it.
every team in the playoffs deserves it except for the Steelers. And as much as people could say, "Oh, you're just hating," and
I mean,
you
look at the
every
way
team
if you
deserves
look
it.
at it. I mean, obviously, like I said before in my video about
Mhm.
the Raiders, I'm an outsider.
Yeah.
But what was at stake for both teams is like because the records were even at 97 apiece. Win goes
Mhm.
in, lose, and the loss goes home. And obviously, the Raiders took that win. It wasn't
Yeah.
easy, but
Mhm.
they managed to come out on from the leg of Daryl Carlson.
Yeah, like there's nothing to go against TJ Watt. TJ Watt is the
It's
defensive player of the year. He is a dog. He is the greatest
probably
one of the greatest defensive players of this era, including Aaron Donald. Um, and it's like, damn, this defense has always saved the Steelers. We've seen it time and time again. This offense is not playoff offense, bro.
no,
Uh,
because the only a guy on offense is Najee Harris,
yeah, and it's
or
like,
at
yeah, Chase.
times Chase Claypool.
Mhm. And the thing is with the Steeler fans could sit here and be like, the Raiders don't deserve it. But at the end of the day, it's like, look at what we've been through and we hit 10 wins. And when we lost to bum teams, but that's because there was a lot going in our heads. You could tell that
You had the John
after
Gruden,
that
and that's what
tragedy.
I mentioned too. The
Yeah.
John Gruden problem, the Damon Arnett situation, the
Mhm.
Henry Ruggs bullshit.
The once the Ruggs thing happened, we went on a losing streak.
Yeah, I
We
think was it
won
like
one
a
and then lost
five,
another
six
one.
game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was like 4-5. It was one of those, but we lost to the Chicago Bears that we knew we would
That
have
should
beat
not
if
have
nothing
happened.
happened. The Giants, come on now. Like we all know that we could have beat those teams if nothing ever happened. And it is if, ands, or buts, but at the end of the day, we made the playoffs. As far
That's
as
all matters.
The Steelers, the only thing that saved y'all was that tie with the
Against the
Lions, bro.
Lions.
The Lions. And yeah, the Lions were playing hot at the end, but you guys played them way before they started getting a little hot. You guys played them when people counted them out and they were already done. They you guys tied to get some on a lucky ass. Oh my god! Even the Ravens yesterday, they threw an interception in the end zone. They could have just feed the rock and they would have won that game. The Ravens would have knocked y'all out. And I know all you Steeler fans were praying that the Raiders were gonna win. You guys were. I seen all over Twitter a bunch of Steeler fans on their knees. You're lucky, man. And in order to prove to me that you deserve it, you beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs, we know when they don't. We don't know when they don't got a bye week the first week. We've never seen them. They've always had a bye week. So now let's see what you guys could do against Patrick Mahomes, Travis
Yeah,
Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and all these players, and prove to me that you deserve it. You'll make that a close
I
matchup.
think that should be the big test right there in
Mhm.
and itself.
Even if you lose and it's a close matchup, I'll give you your credit when it's due. I'll give you your credit. But at the end of the day, it's like, you Steelers fans,
Don't get ahead of to yourselves.
yeah.
Like, look and think about this too. Like, even take from my Eagles perspective, we started at 2-5. Number one,
Mhm.
we were not supposed to be in the playoffs to begin with. We were supposed to be like
Yeah.
a whole rebuilding team, but
Mhm.
like Eric said, once any team starts running the ball, that's when you start winning games. And we saw that with the Raiders last night. Just
Mhm.
kept, and at times kind of helps wind down the clock.
Yeah.
And that helps like and look, granted to the Chargers, I mean they played well as
Mhm.
well, but
Mhm.
the Chargers were gassed. You can tell that they were gassed.
About this game, I said, well, I want to touch. I want to say two things. One thing first, the Steelers are 3-1 against the AFC West. Just saying, they were. I mean, 1-3. You guys lost to us 3 times. Just saying. And on top of that, as far as the game goes, I think the Chargers. One thing was for sure, they knew going into that game that everybody was playing for a job. Best believe if the Raiders would have lost yesterday, Rich Bisaccia would have been a fire joining the head coach carousel. It would have been done. But
Yeah, I would have seen. I would have seen that.
the thing is with Josh Jacobs, me and Ern always go at it. We always go at it over Josh Jacobs because I don't think he should get an extension on a top 10 deal, on a top 10 running back money, even top 15 running back money. And I told him if Josh Jacobs wants to prove to me that he deserves money and he deserves at least a little bag, He needs to prove it. And yesterday's game and the game before, he started stepping up. And as far as that, he just needs to work on some things like the stutter steps and all these
Yeah, just gotta
irrelevant
stop being
moves he
too
needs to do.
finesse.
Yeah, if he could have so many more
Dude, he's got
yards
some
if he
power
didn't
for a
do
guy
extra
his
stuff.
size, so that's the thing. Like if you just run uphill, like you have no problems.
Yeah.
Like the starter step and this other bullshit.
Yeah.
Even D said it best too. Like that sometimes it may work, but with that implication, just go old school up the field. Just plain and simple.
And Waller's the same thing, you know. As far as Waller did not play, and I think he wasn't injured. I think he just didn't want to play. And everybody could say like, "Oh, it's just speculation." But if you look at his body language before he was out, it looked like he didn't want to be there. And look, as far as Deshaun Jackson, at the first week he was there with the Raiders when we lost, he literally looked like he didn't want to be there. But then as time gone on and we started winning, he started looking like he wanted to be there. Deshaun Jackson yesterday wasn't really a factor. I think they used him as a decoy more. And even then, I seen him on the sideline cheering on his teammates, and I'm like, dude, that's a Raider. Like, you got to support your teammates.
And not to mention, he's a Cali guy too. So I mean, despite they're in Nevada, but he is from the West Coast area. I mean, probably. Even I can say this for myself. Like, you guys got a hell of a veteran wide receiver in Djax, because Djax, in my eyes, the fact that we hit him on this as a second round pick, it's something. And the fact that he set his franchise record in 2008, but obviously that was broken by Devontae Smith, which is absolutely nuts to see. But then again, I'm not really too surprised, because we all know what Smith was capable of. It's just that, it's just like it was weird to see like some of these players, like their body language said they didn't want to be there, but as soon as they start winning, like the whole mentality changes. That's what kind of gets that kind of makes me that feels weird in a certain sense.
As far as the Bengals go for this AFC North, they deserve the number one. They were the best on both sides of the ball, and I think they were the best in the AFC North on both sides of the ball for the AFC North. And you've seen that. I think, in my opinion, they got a top three, if not top one, number one trio in the wide receiver core in the NFL, with Higgins and Boyd and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a goddamn stud, bro. Everybody talks about Justin Jefferson, but go look at Jamar Chase, bro.
But I think Jamar Chase, he's gonna. Yeah. I think he's, because I think if you're gonna go top two, I think the top five, I think you had to at least put Jefferson and Jamar Chase in that conversation.
Hell yeah, you need to. And as far as the Bengals, their defense is good. Jesse Bates, all of them. I'm not really big on the names on the Cincinnati Bengals, but I know their defense is really good. As far as the offense, Joe Mixon's a stud. I already said Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. If you guys want to know how good that trio really is, see their last game. Literally their last game.
And their coaching is really great.
And Zach Taylor deserves that coaching.
I mean, he definitely. But I have a feeling it's going to wind up to. I have a feeling it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be close to down to two candidates, and that's going to be. Even the fact that it is between Belichick and Taylor, I feel like it's going to come down to those two. But I feel I'm going to
Belichick just because of the name.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor runs away with it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he deserves it.
The AFC South was an interesting one, to say the least.
Yeah, we knew Jacksonville and Houston.
Well, yeah, but thank you. But at least Jacksonville had a job to do to help the Raiders.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
And fucking I've been seeing a lot of Eagles fans kind of just shitting on the Colts. It's like on Twitter, it's just like just saying, "Why are at?"
Yeah, because it's like the Colts were looking so good, man. Jonathan Taylor was an MVP candidate. It was like, whoa, when they lost to Jacksonville. The one team I thought would have lost was the Steelers. I didn't think the Colts were gonna lose. I really didn't. And you see with Jacksonville, they wanted to end off the season with heart, and they showed it. Their defense, their defense. When I tell you they were stopping Jonathan Taylor, they were picking off Carson Wentz, sacking Carson Wentz. They look like a top 5 defense. Yes.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't seen since the 2017 Jags, with like Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell. I think
Yeah.
a few others that I can't remember the top of my
Yes,
head,
it looked
but
like Saxville. It literally did. It literally did. And the Colts, I feel bad for them, man. They were a team I respected in the UFC. They went from losing 0-3 to starting a streak to starting getting Jonathan Taylor going. They beat the Patriots, and it was like, damn, they look like a playoff team, and then they just didn't get up. And
like
that's what happens in the NFL, man. Every given week, somebody's gonna win, and that's why the playoffs are even. People could say, "Oh, it's gonna be the Chiefs and Buccaneers," and now everybody's going back in their word and saying it's an even playing field because it is. I mean, the Bucks are playing the Eagles, which don't underestimate the Eagles. Number one, number two, the Chiefs are playing the Steelers, which I wish
I
there was
mean, I
another
think that should be an
opponent.
easy ass beating for the Steelers.
Yeah, as far as the Steelers, their way to beat the Chiefs is making Patrick Mahomes run away, and
You
that's
gotta
literally what
you
TJ
gotta
Watt
put
does.
pressure.
That's your best bet right there in beating Patrick Mahomes because they don't
And
got Sammy
we've seen
Watkins
that with a
coming
lot
back.
of teams this year. Like,
Mhm.
despite it was an off year for Mahomes, but it was
Yeah,
still decent, but not to the last couple of years that he's had.
yeah.
But whereas, I mean, you still got Tyreek Hill. I mean, um, who was the fucking running back? Shit.
Uh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. The issue with him is hang on to the fucking football.
Yeah,
That's the problem with.
yeah,
I mean, obviously, he's still probably one of the guys, the greatest. In my eyes, probably one of the greatest head coaches of all time is Andy Reid.
yeah, yeah,
Just because I mean, we had him for the last handful of years before we ran him out of town, and we all know how that kind of went over for us. But obviously, we all know that Tennessee would finish the season 12-5. Then again, I'm not surprised, but man, that was a really tough race for that number one seed in the AFC.
yeah. As far as Tennessee, they proved that they could win without Derrick Henry. Does that mean can they win without him in the playoffs? No. But Derrick Henry is coming back the first week of the playoffs. I mean the second week because they got a bye week, which I knew going into the season, and especially when Derrick Henry went down, that the Titans were going to try to go for that number one spot so they could give Derrick Henry more of a breather, more of a recovery time.
Yeah,
And that's what they did. Now they got 1 week bye week, and after that, they're
and then
going to play
Julio
the
Jones
winner.
finally comes out and does something after you traded for him, and he has
Yeah.
been productive.
And let's say the Chiefs beat the Steelers, right? Let's just say that because most likely the Chiefs will beat the Steelers unless the Steelers could pull something off. But if the Chiefs win, they would play the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans could take out the Chiefs because the Chiefs are not on home field. They're better at home field.
Yeah,
And
that's
and,
true.
and that's going to be a crazy game because once you get Derrick Henry back, the one thing
Yeah,
with the Chiefs defense, if you run the ball against the Chiefs defense, they are going to crash down.
yeah. I mean, and we saw that earlier in the year too. Like their defense was absolute hot trash.
Hell yeah.
But the fact that they kind of changed, I think they still needed. I think the Chiefs still need to work on defense in the draft or the all season.
I really hope the Titans or Steelers could take out the Chiefs because I'm tired of seeing the same people in the Super Bowl. I think we
Yeah,
all are.
I can agree with that.
I wouldn't want the Buccaneers or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, or even the Patriots.
Obviously, we got the Chiefs getting the division, and obviously the Las Vegas Raiders getting that wild card spot.
I told people, man. I before I joined Spotlight Sports Network, I was in a different network that eventually came crashing down. But on that shows, I used to say that we were a 10 to 11 win team, and I even said our ceiling is 12, or our low ceiling was 9, and people call me crazy because everybody's always gonna count out the Raiders. I seen a bunch of TikToks on 4-12 and all this
And think
BS.
about, hey, look, they did the same. I've been seeing a
Mhm.
lot of TikToks because against my Eagles, because of what we had to go through. Not in
Yeah.
the similar. It's not in the situation that you guys kind of went through, but in the similar context.
Yeah, it's like they counted us out. And as far as the Raiders, right? Seeing all these TikToks really made me mad because it was like, I get it. The Broncos look like a beast on defense, and the
But
Chargers look
they're
beast on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who's gonna come to play every goddamn week. Consistency and who's gonna come to play.
oh yeah,
And the Raiders, the more they lost people, the more it motivated them. It was like, damn,
and we seen Mason. Is it Mason Crosby or Max Crosby?
Max Crosby, yeah.
Max Crosby.
Mad
Okay.
Max. Mhm.
But we see Max Crosby kind of really turn into the star that
Mhm.
he's going to be. Phylon, honestly, probably is a
Yeah.
surprise on that D line. Um, who else stood out? Facesign stood out for me, especially
Mhm.
from last night. I don't know, man. It's just there's a lot of things. A lot of some. I mean, for me, I think the Raiders need to start like tinkering the defense a little bit. Try to at least.
Yeah.
It's just like you feel like I don't know. Maybe I just feel like you at least get a little bit younger, but still keep some veterans on that defensive line, and probably straighten up your secondary too. I feel that's your guys' biggest weakness is the secondary. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, we ended up letting go Rasul Douglas, which look at him at the Green Bay Packers. We didn't even give him a shot. I know he was an ex-Eagle too.
You never gave him a
Um,
shot either. So I mean,
yeah, he's a stud, and I was sad when letting him go because the thing is with John Gruden when he was here in the first few weeks, he's the type of guy to control the organization. He controlled it. Most of the draft picks we made was
yeah,
him, and as far as John Gruden, he was more of a I want my young studs to show up. And believe it or not, man, our team is the second youngest in the playoffs right now, our first youngest, I think, besides the Bengals. And the secondary, yeah, I like that you called out the secondary. The secondary does need a little tweaking, but if you look at the secondary, they're all young. Trayvon Morik is a rookie. Nate
yeah.
Hobbs is a rookie. Casey Hayward's the only older player on that team
I think
besides
you
like
need to
Denzel
give
Perriman.
him at least
Yeah,
resign him at the end because I
I
feel
hope
like
so, man.
because I do think for those who did not watch the game last night, Casey Hayward, if you want to call his one of his big moments, that interception was that
Yes.
big moment that
Hmm.
the Raiders needed.
It was long overdue, man.
And I even talked to Raider Joe too, like kind of say because like they're all agreeing to say that game should not went in the overtime, and that's what and that's why I said in that video that game should not have gotten in the overtime. And what's
Yeah.
funny is, and we all talked about it last night. It's like take the extra point. Like, come on, it's really not that hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the Raiders, right? If you were there at 4th and 21 and they scored a touchdown, it was the middle of the field. It was it looked like more of the linebackers' fault because the linebacker usually covers the middle of the field, usually covers back, and we were playing prevent on that one. So
And even like your corners were playing 7 yards back too. Like
mhm.
that's another
Eh,
thing that they need a better might probably need a better defensive coordinator because I don't think Gus Bradley is it for you
mhm.
guys. I might be wrong,
Yeah.
but that's just what I see.
Here's the thing with Gus Bradley, right? Gus Bradley is a type of person that's never blitzed in his life. I mean, if you look at all his past resumes, it's been defenses where they got pressure, and that's because he was the founder of the Legion of Boom, and you seen what they did. He was the founder of Saxville. Look at them, Yannick Ngakwe and all of them. So it's like we gotta give him credit for some things because it's like look at how Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakwe elevated, and Perriman is leading the league in
And he
tackles.
got
Like the
Phylon
second,
coming
yeah,
out of the blue.
and it's like I get it because Bradley does screw up a lot. I mean, you've seen it yesterday, fourth down after fourth down after fourth down, and he plays back, and I hate that. But I just feel like if a defensive mind head coach comes into the Raiders, I feel like they would have
Maybe a Mike Zimmer.
a little say. Hell no, not Mike Zimmer.
Well,
But
something
probably
like a Mike Zimmer.
yeah,
Well, I'm saying,
yeah,
that mindset,
that mindset.
or would you take
And
Mike Zimmer as a defensive coordinator?
you know who I'll take? I'll take Vic Fangio.
Yeah, I think because him and Pat Shurmur got fired too. I forgot about.
And people got to remember that Gus Bradley, the players he brought are literally the best players we got.
I mean, that's
Ngakwe,
true.
one of the best players. Denzel Perriman, we've seen him a Pro Bowler. He also had a say in the draft. Morik was a steal at second round. I wish we got him in the first round, but we got Leatherwood, and that was a John Gruden type of pick.
Coach Spotlight's reaction pretty much told the story.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm one of those Raider fans where I'm not really hard on Gus Bradley, and
it's just like you had like different expectations.
Because Gus Bradley is way better than goddamn Paul Gunther's ass. Paul Gunther was trash last year, and we all know it. And as far as this year, the main concern was if we put up the points we did from last season, the season before this season, and we put those points up this season, we would have won more games. And people would say, stop relying on Derek Carr, stop relying on the offense. But it's at the end of the day,
And you
why
got
do we have to depend so much on the defense? So
the
much.
offense
to try
needs
to
to
bail
work
you out.
too.
Yeah, and it's like that's why sometimes I go at it with Earn and I go at it with Spotlight, and they think I'm just hating on Carr. I'm not hating on Carr, bro. I've been a defender of Carr the whole season practically. He's my
I mean,
quarterback,
I've
and he's gonna
never
stay my
hated Carr.
quarterback.
I thought like he
Yeah.
had
Like
after
I
I
get it.
think
Yeah.
like
Go
there's
ahead.
just like something about Carr. Like, was it the what was it? What was it? But I know he was been with the Raiders. What was it? A couple years now with the Raiders? 3.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other teams that he played for because the only one that comes to mind is probably the Texans.
Yeah.
But what I even seen, like I think the Texans kind of ruined him, and then ever since coming
Mhm.
to the Raiders, like he kind of looked like he turned it around.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
fact that,
yeah.
and just like you said, and the fact that you guys finished 10-7,
Mhm.
like, I mean, it speaks for the volumes that, of that team.
Mhm.
Obviously, the Chargers and Broncos.
Mhm.
Broncos, they still need quarterback.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on some Gus Bradley stuff. Like when the Giants put up 23 points and the Bears put up 20 points and the Broncos and the like teams like that where we shouldn't have lost, how much more do you want from the defense? Like when
Like
you
you
put up
can't let the defense just bail you out.
when you put up 9 points in the offense, do you really think you're gonna win? The only time we've seen that this season was literally Jacksonville and Bills, and that was a crazy game, and it was 9 points to 3 points.
Yeah,
Literally. And then as far as the Giants had all their players at that time and they scored 23. Let's just say like we were the top 5 offense in the beginning of the season. If we would have kept that offense and nothing would have happened, I think we would have won those games and we would put up more points. And I mean, we could talk shit about Gus Bradley. I mean, I if we were to get rid of Gus Bradley, I would have put I would get Vic Fangio in my opinion. That's the only person I would think of.
because I think you need more defense.
Yeah.
Who's the OC?
For who us?
Yeah, what the fuck's his name? Okay, I for some reason I remember, but it's really drawn. I'm like literally drawing a blank.
From who?
The Raiders. I think I completely forgot it.
What the offense coordinator?
Yeah.
Greg Olson.
Oh, he needs to go.
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, that one's who we should be really focusing on. That person should be gone.
For me, I think you guys need to go after Joe Brady. Well, I might be wrong. Hopefully there's probably others that might be available. I think right now, the best opportunity you could probably get is Joe Brady.
Yeah. I think for that, it's just you just need a younger or offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
At the
because
end
you
of the
can't
day,
rely
need
on
that.
an old
Mhm.
Greg Olson to
'Cause,
really.
like, what I always wanted to see is you see these flip flickers win a lot this season. You've seen it with the Lions. You've seen it with the Bengals. The Bengals did it a lot. It's where I feel like I get it. You need a receiver that could throw the ball, but maybe use Mariota. Maybe have Mariota, Carr, Josh Jacobs, right? Have like Zay Jones come around, get the ball, pass it back to Mariota. Mariota probably dishes out to Derek Carr that's on the side, and Derek Carr slings it. And Deshaun Jackson's down there. Something creative like that. Where
Yeah,
it's like it's
we
like
saw
crazy.
that it's almost something similar last night in that Wildcat.
Yeah. And it's like, sorry, I'm just replying to I don't know if you've seen the group chat. And another SC player entered the transfer portal.
Oh Lord.
Our tight end and quarterback is gone. That means Caleb Williams might most likely come to the USC.
Well, but
yeah,
I really hope so, man. Because you got Lincoln Riley over there. Can't because he's the one guy that actually bet. And I actually did follow that story a little. Little issue that I don't know. I feel like Spencer Rattler had an ego to him. I don't
Yeah,
know. There was something about it. But Caleb Williams looked like I think hopefully at some point he's going to be a good stud coming into the NFL. But
yeah,
we'll only wait and see. Then we get to the probably the most laughable division. And in my look, it is what I still call it. It's still a laughable division. That's the NFC least.
mm,
So we got the Cowboys taking the division. I'll say this:
yeah,
defense is solid, but they're and like Key pretty much hit this round the head. Man, their offense is suspect as hell, and I do think they're going to be and they're playing the Niners in the playoffs,
hmm
so that's going to be something of a challenge for the Cowboys. And I do think the Cowboys are going to be a one and done.
yeah. That Niners team is decent.
Despite Jim McGraw
yeah.
having a torn ligament in his thumb, like, come on now. Like, the fact that come and this is why, hey, look, the Rams are a good team, but I don't know, man.
That Niners team, that defense, oh my god.
That defense is
Debo Samuel is a whole
Debo
nother-
Samuel is
he's like a he's like a get Cordell Patterson, copy him and paste him on somewhere else, and then combine those two Cordell Pattersons.
yeah,
That's
because
literally
he's
Debo
got an
Samuel.
explosive speed. Like it's like you can use him because like and the fact that Kyle Shanahan is probably the only NFL coach that has Sean McVay's number, it's just like it's crazy to really
I
think.
just hate that the Cowboys are playing the Niners because I hate both teams. I wanted both of them to be one and done. But at the end of the day, only one of them is going to be one and done. And I think it's most likely going to be the Cowboys because the Cowboys, we all know their
They're
fans.
full of it at
Their
times.
fans are so full of themselves. It's crazy.
I mean,
It's
there's some very humble ones out there.
Yeah, there is. And as far as like the Cowboys, right? People tend to forget the strength of schedule, and people
They
forget
played
about
some.
that. The Cowboys had I seen in the beginning of the season they had the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL, and it's been every year.
And not to mention, there were some games that they played, they almost blew. They can't even keep a lead safe. Like I keep bringing up that Washington game, up 21-0, and they let Washington right back into the fourth quarter, and
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah,
that's why I call it that Captain Choke.
Yeah, he shouldn't have got paid the bag, but he played his cards right to get the bag.
That's I mean I'll give him that.
Yeah, and they do got a great offense. On paper, they're a great offense, but they should be playing better than. And they could say, yeah, we blew out the Washington football team, and we blew out the Eagles the last 2 weeks. Well, the Eagles had second and third stringers out there, and on top of
we
that,
had Washington
football team was depleting anyways.
I mean, and think about it this way: that game was meaningless to us, anyways.
Yeah.
That really, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that division, I think Washington just needs a quarterback, needs another veteran receiver on the other side of McLaurin, and maybe boost up a little bit of the defense. As far as the Giants, they just need everything. I think in the draft they should hit if they really want to make a mark next year. Get a quarter. I mean, stay with Daniel Jones one more year. Just boost up that offensive lineman. I think some people to look at the Giants is Charles Cross, offensive tackle from Mississippi, maybe a Linderbaum from Iowa,
or Ikawu, or
Okinawa.
I'm not butchering that name.
I believe. Yeah, he could be another stud.
I think a sleeper is probably going to be Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a sleeper in the draft.
I would hope, but we just won the last game, so that means we go up. As far as the Eagles,
we need linebackers.
This is the thing with Eagles; they played their cards right. Getting blown out by the Cowboys was the best thing that could happen because that means not only did you already clinch a playoff spot, but your draft picks went up in the goddamn draft. You guys have
I'm really hoping taking
a whole middle to yourselves. Literally, 15, 7, some shit like that. You guys all have your 3 picks under the 20th pick, which is crazy. And you could easily get a Nakobe Dean, maybe get a Jordan Davis, maybe get a.
For me, I think I want Christian Harris because I didn't want.
Oh yeah, he's the best. He's one of the best.
We need a pass coverage linebacker.
Yeah, Nagy to the Vikings. As far as the Vikings, I mean not the Vikings. As far as the Eagles, all they need to do is go linebacker, maybe go double linebacker. I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking
something crazy would be a Nakobe Dean and a
if we can steal Nakobe Dean and Christian Harris.
Because what you could do with Nakobe Dean is what the Cowboys do with Parsons. That's my comparison for Nakobe Dean. he could be coming off the edge, coming in the middle. That's how
So
you
it'd
can
be like
use
a
him.
blitzing linebacker.
And one thing the Eagles need to do is blitz. And when you have
I
Nakobe
mean,
Dean, you could blitz.
yeah, and
Gardner is another one. I love
Gardner's
the
another
cornerback
guy
for
I'm
the
keeping
Eagles.
a close eye on, but I feel like Gardner's going to go in a very high. I think
Yeah,
top 10 if I'm going to give
maybe.
him a projected.
Also, maybe a Daxton Hill, a safety, help out the secondary. I
Yeah,
think you should just go all out on defense this draft in the
I
first
really
round.
that's what we really need because I kind of feel like there's some guys that we really need to cut our ties with.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't want to. I mean, Fletcher Cox, as much as I love him, but I think he's already past his prime.
Mhm.
It's time for and Milton Williams has shown what he's capable of on that defensive line.
Yeah.
Barnett needs to get the fuck out of here. That's. I mean, we could look in free agency though.
As far as wide receiver, Anthony Price for the Eagles, I think they should establish that they need a veteran receiver.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Go
think they
after a
should go to
veteran
free
receiver in free
agency
agency.
because there is a lot of good wide receivers out there that's going to be in free agency that's not going to get a re-sign maybe. And it's funny to me that Devontae Smith, I think, just needs that veteran leadership on the other side of him, and
That's true.
that wide receiver core would be good because I think Jalen Hurts should stay quarterback. As far as the offensive line, it's pretty good. The running back system is good.
I mean, we could probably get one like an offensive line. Well,
Yeah, like maybe one in the second round, third round.
that's what second or third round.
The lineman class, both offensively and defensively, are one of the best in here. Eagles should get AB.
Absolutely
I think they
not.
would hate that. But yeah, I think I would go wide receiver in free agency. I think you go defensive in the first round, but then maybe get an offensive lineman in the second, third, fourth. You always want to go younger, and there's great players in the draft. But let's just see what the Eagles could do against the Bucks. If the Eagles could pull off a win against the Bucks, ain't you sad and they're leaving?
He hasn't said anything yet about that, so that's very. I see that's up in the air at the moment, Anthony. For me, I really hope not because he's pretty much what our offensive line. But I wouldn't be too upset if he does. I mean, he's already been here for a decade. I mean, same with Brandon. Hopefully we need to get Brandon Graham back next year because that injury to him was a fucking that hurt us too tremendously because he's just one of those guys. And I said this too, but I think Brandon Graham is. I feel like in my eyes, he's probably the greatest mentor to Josh Sweat. Kind of to my own horn because and what's funny is, and then I was kind of just kind of looking up Josh Sweat a little bit in the stats. And I come to find out that he and I are a day apart in the month of March. Which is like same year, but a day apart. God damn.
Yeah.
But that's slow.
Yeah, it's just like with the Eagles. I mean, if the center does leave, but Jason Kelsey leaves, let's just say Kelsey leaves, right? The best thing they could do is maybe go for Linderbaum at their. I think Linderbaum would be there at their picks. Maybe go at the
Jordan
Davis, the third first round pick, go Linderbaum, and then the first two go defense.
Yeah, or go linebacker with the first. Because for me, I thought I'd go double linebacker. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see Linderbaum or if lucky.
See, Anthony Price. That's the thing that they are really good against the run. The thing is with the Eagles is the fact that I think to catch the Buccaneers off guard, they would need to pass it deep. And as far as the Eagles, right, we seen glimpses of Devontae Smith going deep downfield, and I think Devontae Smith is going to be an X factor in their win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because just like you said, they're 21st in pass defense, which means if Devontae Smith is one-on-one with somebody, he's most likely going to beat them. And once that happens, Jalen Hurts just has to make the right reads. At the end of the day, Jalen Hurts has to make the right reads.
That's right on the money. I mean, I think we do have a chance of beating Tom Brady twice. I mean, we beat him once in the Super Bowl. I mean, if we could knock him out in the wild card, that would send Philadelphia in a frenzy.
Yeah,
but yeah.
As far as the wide receiver core, they just lost Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Mike Evans is one person, Gronkowski is another, but Godwin's gone. So
yeah, I think wasn't Godwin on the franchise tag, if I'm not mistaken.
They're going to double team. Yeah, they're most likely going to double team Smith. That leaves the lane open for players like Goddard.
Goddard.
He's a stud. Maybe Miles Sanders on the passing game.
Yeah,
Have
so we're
him
actually finally
included.
going to get him back.
Rager,
No. Keep the
Rager
ball
is
out of his hands.
Rager is like he's very
Oh,
questionable. But as far as that, I mean, that would be your key factors, right? If they're gonna double team Devontae Smith, then you got Goddard and you got Miles
I
Sanders,
mean,
and then
and then we also, I mean, plus, I mean, we can also pretty much catch him off guard by some of our,
give
try
me
to
1
run.
minute. I'm gonna go open the door real quick. My bad.
But sorry about that. But damn, yeah, I'm choking on air today. Sheesh. Obviously with the NFC North, pretty much the Packers, they get the first round bye. It's just, but it's just, like Eric said, and that's the thing too about the Eagles too. I mean, it's just crazy to just really understand, and that's true. I mean, Smith was like the last couple of games that I've watched. He's been double teamed a handful of times. At times it just didn't go the way that we wanted it to. I don't know. It's really tough, but obviously with the NFC North, we're going to kind of go over a little bit. We got the Green Bay Packers, the Vikings, Bears, and the Lions. Obviously with the Vikings, they're the one. But pretty much have the first seat locked up in that division. Obviously they have a first round bye to the championship game. And then we got the Vikings, who are 8-9. Also, they fired their general manager and Mike Zimmer at the same time.
Yeah, I got my food, so I'm gonna be muted. But yeah. So, what were you touching upon? I'm sorry,
The NFC North.
Packers. We knew Packers were going to win that division. There's not really much to say. I mean, just Detroit Lions. I mean, I'm gonna continue to say, and everybody could call me biased. I don't care. I think they found a number one wide receiver in St. Brown. He literally, if you guys check his literally, if you guys could check his stats right now in the last 4 games, he's finally came alive. For the Chicago Bears, they just did what they needed to do: get Nagy the hell out of there, get the general manager, and now rebuild. Do what you can. Maybe send Khalil Mack somewhere else. Get what you can from these veterans and start building around Justin Fields. As far as Minnesota Vikings, they needed to do what they needed to do. Mike Zimmer's gone. Kirk Cousins
and the GM's gone too.
Yeah, maybe get Kirk Cousins the F out of there. And there you go. You got Justin Jefferson to build around. Adam Thielen still has like maybe 1 or 2 years. Their defense needs a little bit boosting, and besides that, they'll be set.
Yeah, because I mean, because Minnesota really doesn't need that much to tweak, other than obviously the defense, like Eric said, defense. Obviously with the USC bias with St. Brown, which he's becoming a bright. And I'll say this too. He's been, other than TJ Hawkinson, is probably one of the better guys to catch the football. I think I do think Dan Campbell. Say what you want about it. I mean, I know the record says otherwise. I think he understands the Detroit. See, I don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know much about Love, though.
Here's the thing with that, right? The whole point of Love getting drafted was to pull a Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers type of move, where Brett Favre was a quarterback. You brought in Aaron Rodgers, you left Brett Favre, then Brett Favre left, then Aaron Rodgers took over. That's what they're trying to do with Love. Who knows what Love got, because we haven't seen that much of Love, right? If exactly,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Gone. So let's see where he goes. And as far as Davante Adams, they're gonna franchise tag him, but I would not doubt it if Davante Adams ends up saying, "I want out and I want to be traded."
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
that's the one thing, because people could say, "We're not getting Davante Adams. He's gonna get franchise tag." Okay, that doesn't mean he can't be traded. That just means he's gonna be staying with the team because of the franchise tag. But that doesn't mean he's not gonna be traded. He could be traded. And who knows what his mindset is going to be if he loses Aaron Rodgers. I doubt he wants to play with Jordan Love. He knows he's a top 5 wide receiver. He wants to get paid. So,
and we don't know how much longer Rodgers is going to be having left in the tank. I mean, it's too questionable to tell about Jordan Love. it's just crazy how it comes full circle where, and like kind of Eric really did a good job too. Like, was it like 2005? I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2005, where the fact that Aaron Rodgers dropped that, what could have been for the 49ers, but unfortunately that was um, Alex Smith. But we all know how that kind of turned out, and we saw the career that Rodgers has carved out since then. I wouldn't be surprised. Ooh,
Here's the thing with the Raiders, right? What are you gonna give up for Adams? Packers
yes,
are gonna probably need a lot. So let me think
and
of a package deal. If Mark Davis is not sold on Darren Waller, maybe you could see Darren Waller head to the Packers and
maybe
maybe like a second round
package
pick, third round pick
Waller,
for
maybe a
Adams.
couple picks.
Yeah, and I mean it just depends on Waller does in the playoffs, right? How does he do? Last game he didn't really do much, you
Because I
know.
think was he like I know he was coming back from injury, so I mean they were
Mhm.
kind of trying to ease him back into it, so which is understandable.
Yeah.
Um,
And we still got a lot of draft capital, not in the first round, but in other rounds where that Khalil Mack trade came in. The Amari Cooper one, you know, we got draft picks for those. And it's like, what is Mark Davis and Mike? This is like probably the first year Mike Mayock has full control of this team right now. So let's see what Mike Mayock does to get Adams, right? What is the Packers gonna ask for? Is Adams gonna talk them out of asking for too much? Is Adams gonna say, I want out and I want out now unless I'm not gonna play? And then which he's not that type of player, but I'm just saying,
like
scenario wise,
yeah, that scenario wise, I could see
yeah.
that, but realistically, I don't think he's really not that type of player. But if the Raiders can find one, hey, what's going on? What's good? And that's another thing too. Like, call me crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders find a way to get Devontae Adams for a steal.
This is the thing with the Raiders, right? If this is the thing with all playoff teams, when players' mindsets when they enter free agency is, I want to play with a contender. They'll look at last season and be like, this is a contender. This is not a contender. I know Vegas is a factor, but after what we've been through and we made it to the playoffs, a lot of players are going to be, you know,
or
starting to think and
yeah,
they'll be like,
keep
wow,
the Raiders as an option.
like I want
Or
to buy into that team. That's the team I want to buy in. It's just like stocks. Where are you going to put your money at? You're going to put your money there, you're going to put your money there, or you're going to put your money there. It just depends on which one you think is going to blow up. And as far as playoff teams, that's what's going to happen. I want to buy into this. And let's just say the Raiders get a new head coach, maybe. Let's just say Jim Harbaugh comes. People are going to be like, I want to play for Harbaugh. I want to play with Harbaugh. I want to play. There's different people that want to play with what, right? When Gus Bradley came in, Casey Hayward wanted to play with us. Yannick Ngakoue wanted to play with us. It's like, damn.
because they have familiarity with Gus Bradley, I think during the time in Jacksonville. And that's the thing too, is like, and see some of these rookie head coaches, and you've seen a lot of these like veteran players or actually enjoy playing for a rookie head coach, though. That's like it's really not, I mean, it's not surprising, but but it just kind of put into terms of, like kind of what Eric said too, like Devontae, like especially with Devontae Adams, the kind of caliber wide receiver that he is, obviously getting franchise tag. I wouldn't be surprised if he kept the Raiders as a potential trade option, because think about it this way: if he does go to the Raiders, let's say hypothetically, then you guys can I think the Raiders got themselves a potential a good wide receiver core. Just gotta, but we're gonna have the like free agency is gonna be one thing. Yeah, we actually I did talk about that. I did touch upon that. Which, let's be honest, Miami, what the fuck are you doing? Like, oh god, it just makes me lose when I bring. Like, it gets to the point where and the fact that he's the only coach in NFL history to have a losing streak and a winning streak at the same time in the year, and he can him after trying what he could in the 3 seasons, like. And that's another thing too. Like, the reason why I think, and I wouldn't be surprised Washington went to the Dolphins, but the problem was I think the GM backed out of that trade um, which was weird. But unfortunately, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Flores went. I have a feeling Brian Flores might go to. I don't know. That's going to be tough though. Where Brian Flores is going to go. For me, I think it might be Denver. I don't know. I just don't know, man. I just have a gut feeling he might find a way to join Denver's coaching as their head coach because, look, defense. See, I mean, look, I get he was defensive minded, but he's really actually tried to turn Tua into a really good quarterback, and which is really weird. Like, and they could have had be in the playoffs, but I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like they're kind of weird. I don't know what direction the Dolphins are going to go in, but I don't know, man. It's tough.
It's crazy that they fired him because he's defensive minded because their bright spot was the defensive side of the ball. That was their best thing. That's their best side of the ball, and it was crazy that they did that. Who knows what route the Dolphins are gonna do, but that was a dumb route doing that. And whoever gets Brian Flores is gonna be a steal, man.
Yeah, I said I had a gut. If that was
makes more sense.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
So who knows is gonna go to Miami now? Miami's a big market because it's Miami,
yeah,
Florida. So,
but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you still got if they can find whoever is going to take over the head coaching duties,
reunite Bill O'Brien with Deshaun Watson.
Oh, absolutely. Ooh. And the fact that let's talk about that real quick. The fact that has an interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. What the fuck?
He's doing good with Alabama.
That's just like just stay there. Like just stay away. It's just like I don't know, man. The Texans had a hard time with him.
Yeah.
Like a coordinator. See, the only reason why I can see O'Brien is probably as a coordinator. That's all the way I see Bill O'Brien. It could be an offensive coordinator or a quarterback's coach. For some odd reason, that's what he's doing over at Alabama. But kind of want to talk about the last two divisions: the NFC South and NFC West. Obviously, we knew that the Buccaneers clinched the NFC South. Saints, I'm surprised the record says otherwise, 9-8, despite the what they obviously with Ian Brochure on the roster.
Yeah, their carousel quarterback. Still surprising that they even got 9 wins, which we gotta respect that at the end of the day, right? So I just think that the Buccaneers is the obvious choice here. The Falcons are in rebuild mode. You can see that. The Panthers are in rebuild mode.
Yikes.
It was crazy because they were win now because
they
traded for Stephon Gilmore. They had Christian McCaffrey back, and then you get Sam Darnold, which Sam Darnold is really not the answer. I'm sorry, as a USC fan, he's really not the answer. I just think they need a better quarterback, maybe a better wide receiver.
Newton's not the answer either.
Yeah. Plus, the Dolphins have the top cap space. Yeah, they do. The Dolphins have the number 1.
Oh yeah, they do. And I know let's see. I think we're getting like 35 to 40 next year, so we're getting a lot off the books. And I haven't really had a chance to make a video about this. Like I've been hearing like rumor or reports like Panthers are willing to trade McCaffrey or listen to offers to trade McCaffrey.
I mean, shit, that's what the Giants need to do with Saquon.
Yeah, that's
get what you can with it because at the end of the day, it's not working because you're not building around these two players. So what else are you supposed to do, right? Other teams will utilize them. I mean, the better offensive lines in the whole NFL, that's who they could go with, right? Christian McCaffrey could easily go to a team like the Eagles that has a good O-line, and damn, he's gonna run over everybody.
I mean, he was probably the bet. He was the bet because I wanted him, but Carolina parents snatched him away from us. Like fuck. But that's here nor there.
Yeah.
The fact, and that's another thing. The fact that they fired Joe Brady's like really. Joe Brady did what he could because. And the fact that, and that's another thing too, the fact that Carolina Panthers will bring it back, Rule for another year, which is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Rule is not that good though. That's the thing.
I don't know. Maybe they believe in him. Maybe they have a plan and set. Um, but that's about it for those three. I mean, the Saints need to just build. I mean, the Saints. The bad thing with the Saints, right,
It just
is that they're negative in cap space. They're the bottom. They're at the very last. They're 32nd in salary cap next season. They're negative. So what are they gonna do? The only thing they can do is in the draft. That's
yeah,
all they can do. And
and probably
franchise
cut
tag
some
maybe.
losses some of the players because they're. And that's another thing too. Like their ownership, like the fact that they overpay for Taysom Hill to not to play quarterback for that team. Like, come on, that's a whole nother discussion in itself. Like paying that dude almost 100 million not to play quarterback. It just kind of gets to the point whereas I don't know, man. It's just really tough to really understand what the mindset goes into offering a guy who's not going to be he's going to be like a gadget piece, almost $100 million contract. Like I feel like that's for me. I feel like there's going to be some players that they should need to cut their losses and try to at least clear up some cat space. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But I kind
As
of feel
far
like
as the Saints, I think it's just time to rebuild, man. You're negative in cash space. The best thing you can do is get rid of these contracts. You just give Marshawn Lattimore a goddamn extension when you knew going into next season you're not going to have the cash space.
yeah, that's true. And then who knows if what's going on with Michael Thomas too? That's another thing that the Saints need to keep in mind because I think any team could get.
Yeah, and it's like nobody don't want a running back who's always in. Believe it or not, man, nobody wants a knucklehead like Antonio Brown. And look at what happened there. It's just like there's gonna be a team, Anthony, where they're gonna say, yeah, he's injury prone, but hey, we can maybe get him on a cheaper deal, and he
if he balls out, then
we know when he's healthy, he's really good, and behind a good O line, he should be good. It's always that mindset. It's like you don't know what organizations are gonna be like you. Some people value somebody more than others. Yeah, Saints need to cut Thomas. That's the best thing they can do.
And yeah,
let him go. Let him go. He wants to be gone. You could tell. Let him go.
And he has come out, and he may not.
No, I get that, but you get me. So we would think after the Raiders situation, oh, he's not gonna get a job because nobody wants to handle that mental,
that distraction,
the mental break he's going to, and they did, and it's also with what's another player? I'm trying to think.
With the that has dealt with mental breakdowns.
No, with injuries. Oh my god, I had the player in my head right now. Shit, I forgot. Jason Garoppolo is another one. He gets injured, and
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Tua got hurt. He came out of an ACL. If you guys remember when he was
even out of the draft, he was still dealing with the hip injury.
Yeah, it was bad. It took him out of the whole Alabama season. You wonder why other quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts got a goddamn start over there because Tua Tagovailoa was a little bit down and he was injured, and they took a shot with him, and look at what he's doing. It's like, yeah, the running back position is the easiest to take over, but it's like a Christian McCaffrey player when he's healthy, he's really good, and it's only when he's healthy. It's just like, what organization is gonna negotiate with him a cheaper contract? I think he doesn't deserve top 10 money, but he has top 10 money because he was playing like a top 10 back before the injury. AP is the only person who gets injured and still plays, but nobody's like AP. Yeah, of course.
I mean, look, AB still has talent, but it's all. And for me, I don't really want to see. But then again, like I said before in my Antonio Brown video, I wouldn't be surprised if he got another job somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised. Because I feel like he's still a talented wide receiver, but the problem is he's egotistical. Obviously, he still has dealing with mental problems. I can't say for certain, but
yeah.
But just like I just feel like he's just off the rails.
As far as the NFC West, that was a tough competitive. That was a
competitive one.
Besides the Seattle Seahawks, which we knew once Russell Wilson went down, there goes their whole team.
And the Seahawks are not the same. They're not the same team. The team what they once were like a handful of years ago with like Marshawn Lynch, the Legion of Boom, Cam Chancellor.
I mean, their offense was kind of looking like it because if you remember the first 3 weeks, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns. What the hell? They were looking like the Chiefs last year. and it was crazy to see Russell Wilson go down and this whole team just
And the fact that he wants out of Seattle too, which also
yeah.
understands is like it just really explains it.
It's sad to see that Seahawks go down and maybe Pete Carroll's gone, maybe Russell Wilson's gone. You never know what's gonna happen there, but it's tough for Seattle, man. It's tough.
Yeah,
They've always been on the winning side, but I think this is the year where they finally understand what rebuilding is.
yeah. I mean, we're still rebuilding. I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah.
like the Cardinals. I mean, for me, I feel like they did it pretty well this year.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that with the ones that actually hurt them was the loss of J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like if those two didn't go down, I think they had that division locked up.
They would have had it locked. Nah, reports say they're not trading Russ, but Russ do want out.
Yeah, he does want out. That's kind of what we're.
It might be like a. It might be like a. Oh my god, why do I keep forgetting things, bro? Like I keep thinking of all these players. It's like you know, do I want to say it's like an Aaron Rodgers type of deal, right? Aaron Rodgers kind of looked like he wanted out, and they kept him and they convinced him or whatever. It maybe be like a convincing thing where it's like Russ, stay. You know, we don't want to trade you. Like we'll build around you. You know, they always done that with Russell Wilson. They're like, we're gonna build around you. We're gonna build around you. And then when the time comes, they don't build around shit.
I mean,
yeah.
like if I'm Russell Wilson, like, why would I say to a team that actually keeps false promises to really build around? Because like back then, I mean, if they had you still had Marshawn Lynch. Let's be honest. I do think Pete Carroll, I think, has kind of at times lost it. Yeah, J.J. Watt has been clear. From what I saw, it has been cleared. Hopkins is gonna. I think he should be available by the championship game for the Arizona Cardinals. That's when I saw from like different reports. But having those two back, I think is really what's going to help. Really get to them. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's just like, yeah. I mean, kind of really.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did waive his no trade clause to. I know the Broncos is one team that I saw.
I think Russell Wilson to the Steelers would not be bad at all.
I could see the Steelers. Who else? Maybe the Saints. That's cap space.
I mean, they didn't even have the cap space last year. They were in the negative column, and they still ended up re-signing the shit out of players. And I was like, what the hell are they getting this money from?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how they're doing it. Somebody got to explain to me that whole goddamn salary cap shit, because there's no way in hell they have negative 30 and then they re-sign the shit out of Marshawn Lattimore and they
give that ridiculous extension. Because
for the Rams, we knew they were going to be win now. The moment Von Miller got there, the moment Odell Beckham got there.
Yeah, they're really still in win now mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy to see how this year has turned out.
It's a crazy season.
Despite, a lot of crazy shit that we've seen. Hey, if that's the case, let her make I think she'd make a great general manager. Damn it, Damian.
I think she'll go to a better city.
Saints getting that cartel money.
I swear, bro.
But yeah, it's just. I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, it was a good year, but it was a weird one at that. Like, kind of like the AFC for like obviously take the AFC North, kind of like how we touched upon it. Like, we didn't know who was going to win that division till it came down to like the second half.
Yeah.
And then some teams didn't do their jobs, which, to be honest, what the fuck?
There we go. I just seen it for Monte Brown for the Lions. He did break a record. It was the all-time leader in reception yards by a Lions rookie, which passed Calvin Johnson.
Jeez,
I'm telling you. And he was in the fourth round. People got to remember, he got picked in the fourth round.
Yeah,
he wasn't a first-round receiver. He's playing like one. But yeah, the season was amazing, man. I think it was one of the best seasons in a while. I love even playing field playoffs. I don't like when we knew that last year the Chiefs were gonna take it all the way and the
Bucks win it all.
It's like this year I get it. Everybody was saying Buccaneers, Patriots, but after these,
there's some dark horses in these
last few weeks we've seen that it's an even playing field, man.
Yeah,
from top to bottom. It's even. And
Until
I
then, I
love it
mean, we're
like
gonna
that.
have to wait and see how everything plays out. But
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. But
Yeah.
for those who don't, you can Eric, tell them where where they can find you.
Of course. The SE experience, of course, doing things the SoCal way. I do all things Dodgers. You see in the back of me, Dodgers, Raiders, Lakers, and USC in general. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Or you can find me on Spotlight Sports Network. You'll see me around a lot of those lives, you know. But that's where you can find me, man. Thank you for having me, though. I
And not a
appreciate it,
problem.
man.
Actually, that's an interesting one. Rogers Brady. See, that's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
be. You know,
It might go to a quarterback, most likely.
yeah.
But
What I have a feeling Rogers is going to lock up his fourth MVP. But
mhm.
Eric, man, it was a pleasure having you on. Kind of
Yeah,
really
thank you. I
kind of go
appreciate it,
over
man.
this year. But yeah, thank you for those who stopped by in the chat. But other than that, I really have no the final thoughts other than we're just gonna have to.
You'll see both of us around.
Oh yeah,
We'll be on Spotlight Lives. I mean, we're probably after today because today it was a slow day. We're not gonna do really
and then
much today.
we're
But
probably gonna see me again at
starting
6:30
tomorrow.
for Villanova and Xavier.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
because
it.
you're going to see him, other Spotlight Network member, Coach Dante, is going to be joining me as well.
For sure. For sure.
If Eric, if you want to join me for that, I mean, you're more than welcome to join me and Coach Dante on the Villanova and
Of course,
Xavier
of course.
basketball game.
Of course.
But Damian, Anthony Price, Greg John, Jay Taco, and back here and Jerry Lee. Pleasure all for those who stopped by in the chat. But with that being said, this is Robert from the Philly Sports Talk Podcast. We are out of the building.